BeamerForb.com and BeamerOdds.com. What is going on, boys? What is going on? Welcome back to episode number 92 of The Lobby. Moving right along here, getting closer to that episode 100 mark. But as always, my great group of guests, the guy who, it looks really fancy today, purple bow tie, purple shirt, spiked hair, Mr. Samson George. What's up, Sammy?
Going on, Bobby? You caught me on a Friday, a day that I'm actually working. I'm not home all day smoking my face off, so you caught me sober. We might have to change that, but yeah, it's been a great day at work. This is how I dress up at work. I'm the bow tie guy, spike my hair a little bit. I think I sold 3 cars today, definitely 2. I think I sold 3. Slamming day. January is starting off much better than December. I've been in the business 13 years. 2024 honestly was one of the worst years in the car business. And 2025 is already looking way, way better. I'm already selling as many cars for January, 10 days as I sold in December. So it's going to be a good month, good year. Prices are already dropping. Interest rates still high, but starting to slowly drop. But yeah, excited, college football action tonight. We got NFL playoff action this weekend. Next weekend, more NFL action, college football finals. It's been a good semifinal based on yesterday's Penn State Notre Dame game, what we'll get into. But excited. Then we move right into NBA and NCAA. Sports don't stop. Let's get it going.
All righty. Awesome. And Donnie, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, man, looking forward to the Eagles playoff game on Sunday. But as Sandy points out, we do shed tears that we are nearing the end of football season. But then you start seeing oh, yeah, pitchers and catchers in about a month and a half, spring training baseball games, March Madness on the horizon, NBA finals, NHL finals. We get upset that things end, but then always have to remember, no, other really good things start up at the same time as well. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully get a real profitable rest of the postseason in college football and the NFL. But hey, as much as I get upset football's ending, I love Major League Baseball. So here we go.
Exactly. And last but certainly not least, the man with all the wonderful chicks behind him, Reload. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, how's it going out there? Still here in Vegas at Stadium Swim. So nice last week. I stayed there another week. So here we are hanging out with the guys, some of the Circus Survivor winners who are here partying it in the cabanas. If you're familiar with that big contest, we had some big winners. They're going to be getting their checks tonight.
Wow. Very nice. Speaking of Circus Survivor, not last year, but it might have been the year before, me and a few guys on here, we got together. We did a Circa Survivor pool. We all put in, I don't know, 200-300, whatever it was, $200-300. And we all kind of chipped in, and we were able to put an entry together. Might be something kind of cool to look into for next season. With the four.
Yeah, I know my eliminator out about week 2 this year, but
yeah, it's huge every year. And there's a lot of good money there. There's always every year there are people forgetting to put their picks in and everything, and the money really builds up. It's gone past the guarantee. And I'm sure next year it'll be even bigger.
Exactly right. But Donnie, let's jump over to you. Let's jump into some daily NBA tonight. What do you got on the hardwood?
Yeah, NBA, look, tonight, most people focused, and rightfully so, Friday on the college football game. We'll get to that. But 2 games I wanted to take a look at. The Philadelphia 76ers going up against the New Orleans Pelicans, who are terrible. Zion Williamson got suspended for a game. The guy doesn't even show up and play games. Now he's actually getting suspended for games, which is kind of comical. That line, though, shot up from 4.5 to 7.5 at some outlets. I'm actually going to take the points with the Pelicans in this game. Still know Joel Embiid is going to sit out. George will be back in this game. Maxey will be there. The Sixers probably will win, but I can't trust them to win by close to double digits. Give me the 7.5 points. And how about this? Samuel, like this one. OKC in town to take on the Knicks tonight. A 1.5 look-ahead line is now sitting at 4.5, as high at some outlets here. I'm taking those Knicks at home in the Garden to stun the Thunder. How about that one?
Wow, Sammy, I know you're going to be excited about that. What do you got tonight?
I think Donnie was reading my notes because I got the Knicks on my thing. I don't know how I typed it up that way, but yeah, the Knicks at home against Oklahoma City, coming off actually a loss at home to the Cavaliers. We had number 1 versus number 1, East versus West. The Cavaliers took that on Wednesday, so Oklahoma City playing back-to-back road games against the Knicks. Knicks +5. I think they are 4.5. I think they can keep it close. This is a game that's going to test New York. right now, again, we're the 3 seed. We're a solid 3 seed. We're coming off last year's high in the conference championship. This is a game that's going to say, can we compete with those top 3 to 4 teams in the league, or are they not ready to compete? So unfortunately, as a YouTube TV subscriber in upstate New York, I can't even watch the Knicks unless I buy sports. There's another one of these complaints about not being able to watch the NBA or being able to watch my home team. They might be on ESPN. Actually, they're probably not because of the college football, but I can't even watch them unless I'm watching my parents' Spectrum app. So I can barely watch the Knicks, but I'll be following along. Take the Knicks. And then I like Boston 10.5 over the Kings as well. And then the Bucks at home 6.5 over Orlando.
All righty, Sammy. Thank you and good luck with those. Sammy, I'm going to need to get with you here pretty soon regards to some beard tips. I got multiple compliments this past week on the beard that's coming in. I got to clean it up and I got to make it like a Sammy beard.
I mean, everyone kind of makes their own. Facial hair is their own. I can't grow it on the sides. But I got a solid stash if I want, or I got a solid goat if I want. I don't really get a lot on the sides. My dad doesn't really grow any facial hair. My 2 brothers both can, but my 2 brothers can grow it kind of like how you have it, the full thing. I can't grow it on the sides. I'm real patchy here. I need to kind of shave the little scrappings, but I'm solid here. And honestly, I didn't start growing good facial hair till like my early mid-20s. So until like 22, 23, 24, I was always clean shaved like how Donnie and Reload look. It hasn't been until recently, the last 10 years, how I've been able to get it in. But yeah, I'm either rocking the Sammy stash or rocking the goat. So right now, rocking the goat.
All righty. Thank you. Reload, over to you. NBA action. What do you got, buddy?
Yeah, I'm covering some of these same games tonight too. First with the Knicks and Thunder. Yeah, big game there. I'm also going with the Knicks +4. I know Towns is questionable tonight, but even so, I still think it's a nice number at home. The Knicks have had that game circled. They played in Oklahoma last week and lost. If you watch some of the recaps, the tweets that came out after, I think they're really going to be up for this rematch. So Knicks as the home dog, we're taking them. I'm also going to take Orlando Magic. I know Sammy touched on this game. Magic are in a back-to-back spot here, but they got blown away last night anyway. So I think their focus will be right back on the court, and I think they'll keep it close tonight with Milwaukee.
All righty. Thank you for that, Reload. Sammy, let's jump over to you, buddy. Let's talk some college football. It's going to be the big thing tonight. Ohio State and Texas. What do you got? Who do you like?
Yeah, super excited for that game. I think I'm with the majority. I do have a small future on Ohio State, so took them at +400 at the beginning of the playoffs. So I got a little bit of action on them long term. Actually, if you look at Wager All Sports, he put in kind of like a cross sport parlay, which I think is really good. He's got Ohio State on the money line, Baltimore Ravens on the money line, Buffalo Bills on the money line, and it pays +108, I think is what he posted in that thread. I think that's a real strong parlay if you're looking for a couple days of action. I know some of the degenerates look for day-to-day action rather than, having money tied up for 3 days, but that's a solid parlay. I think I will lay the points with Ohio State -6. I think they're the better team. They're the better offense. Everyone just knows what happened against that game with Michigan, just the worst game plan. But other than Michigan, Ohio State beats every other team. And I think the Texas quarterback was shaken up a little bit in the quarterfinals. They didn't really utilize Archie Manning. I think they should inside the red zone. But I think Ohio State's just the best team in the country. They are thankful for the 12-team playoff, or they wouldn't even be relevant. They wouldn't even be playing at this time of the year. But Ohio State -6 over Texas. And then looking ahead, I did see some potential future lines. Ohio State would be -8.5 over Notre Dame in the finals. Again, looking ahead, we'll talk about it next week. I kind of lean Notre Dame plus those points, but tonight I'm going to take Ohio State over Texas.
All righty, Sammy. Good luck with that, and thank you. Reload, let's jump over to you, Ohio State and Texas. What do you like tonight?
Yeah, just like Sammy, I've got an Ohio State future at plus 500 too. So it's hard for me to add more onto that. That's a nice spot to be in right now. I do think the point spread has shifted a little too high for this game, though, against Texas with the blowout over Oregon. It's a pass for me as a game since I've got enough on Ohio State anyway. If I was to bet this specific game, though, I'd say a light play or a lean on Texas +6 to hopefully keep it close there, as I just think the line is a few points too high because of the overreaction there.
All righty, Reload. Thank you. And last but not least, Donnie, let's get your opinion on this. Ohio
I'm
State.
with Reload. Yeah, I'm with Reload on that last one because on last comment, it just seems like it's a foregone conclusion. Ohio State's going to move on. Texas is a really good team. This game is being played in Texas down in Dallas. Look, you don't need to play any more football down there with the Cowboys being out. Might as well have the Cotton Bowl game down there. 51.5 points seems like it's about right. Like if yesterday's game went over, you can't be looking at this game saying there's no way it goes over 51.5. But I actually like a couple touchdown props in this game. Travion Henderson, a -105 anytime touchdown for Ohio State. But I also took a shot at 13-1 early in the week on Arch Manning to get a touchdown. You might say, Donnie, what are you, nuts? He might not even play in this game. Rightfully so. But there is a chance if they're down 2 touchdowns at the break, they will make that change to Arch Manning. And also keep in mind, he's a really athletic kid. Don't be surprised in the red zone if he comes in to run the football. So that's what I'm going with tonight. And also some in-game stuff, which I like to mess around with. But tough one to say which side in the total. But I do like a couple of those touchdown props tonight.
I'll tell you what, Don, I like that Arch Manning touchdown prop. I mean, I kind of said it too, that Arch Manning is kind of their red zone quarterback.
Yes.
So he can easily do the RPO option play. And that's a plus 13-1. He might not play, but if he plays 3 plays, you see him scoring 1.
Exactly.
And they probably got some shit last week for not him playing. So
Sammy, let's jump over to you. I know it's going to be your favorite time of the year, starting back up. Australian Open starts tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. It starts at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I already have plans to go out tomorrow night, but it's going to be 14 hours of action from 7 p.m. The last match, normally goes until about 11 o'clock at night, their time, which will be about 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m. our time. So I'll be able to watch it at night, go to sleep for a few hours, wake up to some action for the next 14 days. I always call it's the March Madness of action. There'll be 64 matches for the first couple days, and then you got doubles action. You got mixed doubles action. But obviously the main courses are the singles for the men and women. I am going to make a preview video on Sunday morning just to break down some of the brackets and go over some potential future plays. Some of the futures might already be in play because day 1 starts tomorrow. But I love it. Again, even if I put 15 plays out there, you might say, oh, my God, that's so many plays for one night. But I'm only hitting 20% or 25% of the action. So if you look at an NFL card of 16 games and you're betting 6 of them, that's like me betting 15 tennis matches out of 64. So relatively speaking, I am a action-packed guy for tennis. But relatively, I'm still only betting 20 to 25% of the games, which is pretty much what I do in any other sport. So I can't wait. Check out the breakdowns. I'm down a little bit on the start of the season, but we're only a couple weeks into the season. I'm going to be having 50 to 75 plays over the next 2 weeks. So let's let it happen. I got some futures already in play. I got Sabalenka on the women's side. I'm looking at Djokovic on the men's side. He's the third shot behind Jannik Sinner and Alcaraz, and they are on separate sides of the bracket, which is really exciting for the deep tennis enthusiasts that know that those two are the future of tennis. Jannik Sinner's got the doping case, which has a lot of controversy online. He faces a potential 2-year ban, but he is still allowed to play while the jury is out on that trial, whereas other players such as like Simona Halep have been banned from playing during their trial. So some players aren't happy because he's the world number 1 and still allowed to play, whereas other players that aren't relevant are suspended during their trial. So there's definitely some nepotism happening within the tennis community, but how are you going to allow your world number 1 not to play? But it's not a good look for him. So, that's he say, she say in reference to what your opinion is that. But it doesn't matter. Tennis action. Let's make it happen.
Thank you for the insight there. That's very interesting. Definitely some favoritism going on there for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Simona Halep isn't necessarily relevant, but she is a former world women's number 1. She is a Grand Slam winner. And at the time that she was suspended, she was still in the prime of her career, and they took her out for 2 years. She appealed it. She won. But now she hasn't played for 2 years, coming back from injury. You're not getting the same workload. So she's tried to get back on the court, but she's not the same player that she was. But Jannik Sinner, world number 1. I've even seen some players in the 100s or 200s suspended. They're challengers, but doesn't matter. Just because you're world number 1 doesn't give you any special sight, but I guess it does.
All righty, Sammy. Thank you. And best of luck on all the tennis action. Guys, speaking of action, we have a little poker action to discuss. The finals did happen last Wednesday. So congratulations to each and every one of the participants. And a quick breakdown. Top 8 got some baller coins, which I'm going to be paying out. Number 1, the winner of the tournament. Actually, let's start at number 8. Let's make it interesting. Number 8, 50 baller coins goes to Harpo. Congratulations to Harpo. Number 7, 75 baller coins, White Phil Ivy. Number 6, 100 baller coins over to Eddie Cash. Number 5 with 150 baller coins to Dog Catcher. Number 4 with 250 baller coins goes to Achilles. Number 3 with 300 baller coins goes to Hunch. Number 2 with 500 baller coins goes to RR Silver. And number 1 winning 1,000 baller coins as the winner of the Tournament of Champions final event goes to none other than Benjamin Aru. So congratulations, each and every one of you guys. Thank you for participating, and be on the lookout for the next Poker Tournament of Champions series events to be announced by me here shortly. But Sammy, excuse me. Let's jump over to you. Week 18, pick'em recap. Regular season pick'em winners. What do we got here?
Yeah, so shout out to everyone that stayed along all 18 weeks. Again, every week you had weekly prizes. I myself won 2 weeks. I won $125 throughout the season. I invested $0. Free contest to win real money. So obviously it's too late now, but get into their next year. This thing will be happening again. But week 18, shout out to the winners there. You had top 4. Fourth place was Malakana, 24 points. Mr. Alar and Tanko with 25. Go Bucks, 6-1, 26 points. And then the final winners throughout the whole season. I know Donnie was flirting with the top 10. I think he finished at 12th place. Yeah. But the top 5 separated by 17 points. 5th place, Red the Tiger, 302. 4th place, Knowles, 1992 at 303. 3rd place was Champ, 2399 with 310. TT Warrior coming in 2nd place with 313. And shout out to the winner, RWD Bacco with 319. I didn't see what the yearly prizes were, probably a couple $1,000s and some baller coins. Yeah. But shout out to them. I already saw the thread. Jeannie has been in contact to pay out all the winners. But congratulations to all the winners, sticking it out 18 weeks and coming out with some prizes. Good luck in the playoffs.
Good luck, everyone. Speaking of playoffs, Donnie, let's jump over to you. We got some playoff action this weekend. What do you like? 6 games going.
Yeah, we do. I'll tell you the tough one right off the bat, the Chargers and the Houston Texans, which is going to get going at 4:30 p.m. That's like the Houston Texans Bowl. Every time they get the playoffs, they get the first game of the playoffs every single year. Beginning of the week, I said, the Chargers are going to run away with this. Now, the line, 2.5 threes, mostly threes at all outlets now. But you have just about like 75% of the tickets coming in on the Chargers. I start to second guess myself as a home playoff game, which is a big advantage. So staying away from that one. Pittsburgh and Baltimore is an interesting one. You saw the 8.5s, the 9.5s, the 10s, depending on where you're shopping this week. I do think this game is closer to the vest on both sides. Baltimore is going to win, but I'm not going to lay 9.5 points with Baltimore. I actually take the Steelers getting the 9.5 in that game. If we flip it over to the other games on Sunday, I do like the Philadelphia Eagles 3.5 to 4.5, now 5.5 at some outlets. I think the Eagles are the better team, rested and ready for that game. I think they win and cover. Buffalo and Denver, which is an interesting game. I think, look, Denver doesn't really have a good MO for saying, you know what, a team we're not supposed to beat, we're not going to beat them. They always beat the teams they're supposed to, but I think they can stay within that 9 number if you're getting the best of it out there. Washington and Tampa, I think they get into a shootout at 50.5. And that game Monday night, it's an interesting one. Shame on the Rams, who, not their fault. The wildfire's going on. They lose a home game that goes to Arizona. I think that flips over to Minnesota, who got beat up last week against the Detroit team, which was better. But I do think they're set up for a rematch. So that's where I'm going this weekend. A lot of good stuff to play into, but a lot of games there. I'm saying, you know what? Let me just step away from it, like that Chargers-Houston game.
All righty. Reload. Let's jump over to you. Week 18. I'm sorry, playoff action. What do you got?
Yeah, looking forward to the playoffs here. I had a hot week on the show last week, going 3-0 with the picks I gave out. So looking to stay strong here. I'm going with Steelers plus 9.5. Donnie touched on this one. I feel the same way. I think the number's too high. I think the Ravens might even look past this game a little bit come second half. So I think the Steelers will hang in there and get the cover. Next one, Packers plus 5.5. That line's gone up a bit. Plus 5.5 is looking good for the Packers. I know Donnie's an Eagles fan, but I'm going with the Packers to cover there. They've done pretty well. If you look at the whole season, they've only had one loss by over 5 points all season. And you're not going to find that too often in the NFL. Like only out of all the losses they've had, they've mostly been very close. So 5.5 is a nice number there. Monday night, I'm taking the Rams plus 2.5. I know it's been unusual with that venue change to Arizona, but actually, I don't think the LA home field advantage has ever been much. I think if you talk to bookmakers and the like, they usually don't factor much in for it. Remember, the Rams got to rest starters last week too. So I think they've just really had all the focus on this game, whereas Minnesota was kind of zoned in on Detroit and lost that one. Now they got to come here. So I like the Rams on Monday night too.
All righty, Reload. Thank you. And last but not least, Sammy, playoff action. What do you got, buddy?
Playoffs. I'm just trying to win a game, So let's start off with the Houston Bowl. I think 4:30. They are a strong team, and they rested their starters last week too. I think CJ Stroud, he played the first quarter, the first couple possessions where the Chargers played the whole game. But home underdog +3, you definitely don't want the 2.5 number. That's not a good line. But if you're getting +3, Houston has won, and they've made it to the second round of other playoffs. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team. I know I talked about them 6 months ago. I had them for some future picks. CJ Stroud wasn't what I thought he was going to be in year 2, but they're still a good team. And I think there's too much action on the Chargers. If you can get +3, I think to take Houston. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. I am on Baltimore -10 for a couple reasons. Baltimore lost the first time in Pittsburgh where they only scored field goals. Pittsburgh couldn't even score. They just beat them because they scored enough field goals against them. Then the last time they played a few weeks ago, Baltimore smoked them 34-17. And there's no real reason to think that Baltimore is not going to steamroll them again tomorrow. I know it's a division matchup, but Pittsburgh is strictly relying on the defense. The offense has not been there the last few weeks, and Pickens has been a disaster and drama over there. And Russell Wilson has definitely regressed a little bit over the last month. And I think Baltimore is just going to beat them up just like they did last month. So Baltimore by 10+. Starting on Sunday, Denver at Buffalo. I think Buffalo wins, but I think Denver can keep it close. This is one of those where maybe they get one of those backdoor covers and get that +9 in there. I think Philly at home with Jalen Hurts officially cleared and healthy should be a really good game. And I like the over in that game between Philly and Green Bay. Should be some high-powered offenses going there. A game that I don't think either one of you touched on, Tampa Bay over Washington. Tampa Bay slowly quietly has one of the better offenses, out there. I like Washington. I like Jaden Daniels. I think they are a future team, but I think Tampa Bay -3 at home is just a sneaky game. I think they really should be like 4.5 points. So I think Tampa Bay is honestly one of the better plays of the week over Washington for the Sunday night. And then Vikings over the Rams. If you watch that game, Sam Darnold missed like 9 touchdown passes in that game. He overthrew, he underthrew, he missed every throw. It was one of his worst games of the season on the biggest stage, of course, to get that number 1 seed. And I think they're going to have a comeback game. Rams have a great offense. They got all the weapons right there. I'm not going to be unhappy if the Rams win, but I think Vikings are the better team, and Sam Darnold couldn't be worse last week. And he has a bounce back game. And if you're getting them at -2.5, it's a good line to take them over the Rams.
All righty, Sammy. Thank you. And good luck on all your NFL action this coming weekend, boys. And real quick, anybody out in California, the forum is definitely thinking about you with all those wildfires out there. And, you guys be safe out there. But you guys have a great week. Best of luck, and we will see you guys around.
Let's go.
See ya.